Oh, that's the dude that's, should I open it or should I keep it sealed? Degenerocity? All right, this is what we're going to end it on.
Today,
We're going to end it on a Degenerocity video. Perfect ending. We're going to end it off on this and then I'm going to end stream. Let's go.
talking about one of humanity's biggest fears. A job! This is a horrifying path that almost everybody will have to eventually face in their life, whether we like it or not. And most of the time, we don't. But everyone has to get their bread somehow. So we just gotta suck it up and pray that we win the lottery or our parlay hits one day. Because let's be for real, nobody want a job. Like, unless you got real aspirations for a certain type of work, I think most of us, if given a magical opportunity to get paid however much you get paid now and not work that job again, we would take it. Because most of us see jobs as a way to get by in life and try to make ends meet. There's no room for you to pursue passions in this economy. You better...
True. I know I'm gonna pause a little bit, but he's spitting facts because we have no time to do anything. We wake up, go to work, go home. We're too tired to do anything else. And then we go to sleep and then rinse and repeat. And then the weekends, we're doing errands. And then by the time it hits Sunday, we blink and then we're back at work on Monday.
Second guess that art degree and major in business so you can be an executive marketing promoter for $1 billion company. But I digress. I'm just saying, I doubt that is most people's passions to work at a 9-to-5 at a warehouse lifting boxes.
Facts.
I don't mean any disrespect, but am I wrong? Plus, it's fun being unemployed. As long as you got a roof.
Facts. On God, bro. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I've had a couple of unemployment arcs. Them shits is fire. But it's like, I feel like when enough time passes, you end up feeling like, I don't know, bro. I end up feeling like a loser. I'm like, I woke up at 12 o'clock again. I'm not doing anything, bro. I'm a fucking loser. I'm going to sleep at 4 a.m. Yo, that's like, oh my God, bro. I hated it low key sometimes.
Roof over your head and don't need to worry about bills, most likely because you still live with your parents, then why would you want a job?
True.
That sounds like it's taking away your time from being grandmaster on Rivals and watching reels. Nah, that's too much. But eventually you want to get your own stuff. You know, young boy tickets ain't free. Or life really hits you in the face and now you actually have bills. So eventually we all have to get a job. However, you know what's harder than actually deciding to get a job?
Yo.
Finding one that hires you. I swear you could send 100 applications to 100 different places and all of them would still ghost you. You think with how many job openings you see, the businesses are desperate to find people. But nah, it feels like they're posting it as bait, just to mess with people or steal your info. Not only that, if this is your first job, you're gonna have a harder time because even the quote
on God, bro, especially I feel bad for people who have no job experience. Those motherfuckers, I feel like are suffering the worst because like if you go to a job and then, you know, you're handing them an application and then your application is empty. Like it has your name, your email, your phone number, and it's like job experience. Volunteered at a local church. The way they gonna look at you after, we're like, you have any questions? I'll give you a call back in maybe 3 to 5 business days. Thank you for showing up. You can take a step outside right here. Have a good one. Never get a call back, never get an email. You're just there waiting the whole time, staring at your phone email. Like, am I gonna get that call back? Am I gonna get that call back? And that shit never comes through, man. That shit sucks, man. You said that's why I tell people to apply to Home Depot. You know what? Sometimes Home Depot be hiring. You can't work here, you need experience. That's why I'm applying here, yup. You said, surely you shouldn't lie on your... You know what? I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to crazy recommend it, but sometimes in life, you might have to lie on that resume sometimes.
Quote entry-level jobs are asking for a qualification of having prior experience. Like, isn't that what this job is for? How is someone supposed to get experience and not be homeless while almost every decent paying job requires that? And trying to apply for a job on LinkedIn or Indeed is like sending your application into a void. I swear none of those people be reading them. You could have the most stacked profile on LinkedIn. You got a bachelor's, master's, discovered the cure for cancer. Then you send in...
That's the scariest shit ever. You could have a bachelor's and a master's, bro. Imagine going to college and going into debt and you still struggling. Yo, that's insanity, bro. They lied, bro. They lied to the millennials, Gen Z, and then the future gens where they were with that shit. They were like, hey, bro, just go to school, go to college, get a degree, and then you should be set for life head ass. And I'm like, nah, bro, that is not how the fuck it works, bro.
An application for your dream job to your dream company. Then they write back to you saying, we've read your application. Unfortunately, the CEO's daughter has took your position that you applied for, so get the fuck on. Back when I was still...
No, you see, you said the CEO's daughter. We could also like put that hand in hand where I feel like to get a job nowadays, you have to network. It's a lot of networking. You have to make friendships. And then when you make friendships where people are working in specific locations, then you can ask them. It's a lot of networking that also goes into play that you have to remember, chat. So if you are looking for work, sometimes you got to make friends with certain people. Yeah, connections do matter a lot. Because sometimes to get in a job, all you need is a recommendation. It gets very crazy.
Applying for jobs, I literally gave up on sending applications on those sites.
I love this clip of that fucking guy where he goes, King! Then he throws a stupid controller. I always freaking smile at this shit.
I never get a response back. Like, damn, was my application that bad? Even when your application does get noticed and you get set up for an interview, you still gotta go through some more bullshit ass questions. Why did you choose our business? Y'all hiring. Like,
I hate that shit. Why do you want to work for us? It's like, imagine going to Starbucks. You're applying to Starbucks. Why do you want to work for us?
I love the smell of coffee. I love the green. The logo. It's just something about the logo. It's just speaking to me. I love helping customers. I love.
No! I need that check.
what's up? What is your main motivation to get your work done?
Money.
What else am I here for? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Hopefully not here. That's just me being honest with my answers. What do you want me to do? Work here for the rest of my life? This is a
Facts. They do want you to say that. A lot of the time in jobs, when they ask you that bullshit interview question, where do you see yourself in 5 years in this company? They want you to say some corny ass shit like, oh, I'm gonna be in a managerial position, hopefully within the future of this company. If I work for Starbucks for 5 years, I want to be in a manager position, possibly working at a store. And get the fuck out of here. Why the fuck would I want to be in Starbucks 5 years later? Bitch.
Wendy's. So you gotta lie with any question
Yup,
they ask.
you gotta lie.
You have to make yourself look as good as possible. So you gotta
William.
fake it till you make it. Even if they asked you a stupid question like, would you still work this job even if there was no pay? You say absolutely.
Yup.
I always want to be.
Yup. You gotta lie. Yo, we gonna pay you no money. If you gotta stay here and work 30 hours of overtime, will you do it? You gotta lie. You gotta be like, yes. I'll take a bullet for this company. The second you sign that paper and you're hired, do a whole 180 after like a week and a half. After like orientation week and shit, you could slowly start doing the 180, and then that's when you can hit them with the I actually gotta change my schedule. I got shit to do. I cannot work on this day, this, that, and the third because this, that. But you said in your job application that you were available at any time. That was at that time. It's a new month. Times have changed. You better give that position to the fucking new hire or some shit. Hell yeah, bro. You gotta lie, man.
Be a slave.
You gotta lie.
Congratulations. You have successfully become employed. The end of your life starts Tuesday. After starting a job, I feel after the first week, you can find out whether you like it or quit it the next month. And it won't be the job itself to motivate this decision. It's your boss and coworkers.
Jiggle my balls.
They can make or break this whole thing. If you happen to get a chill boss and coworkers you can vibe with, that's amazing. That's how my...
That was me. There was a time where I worked in vans. And I remember when I worked, that's why sometimes y'all will see me in a van shirt. I liked working in vans because whenever there was like new employees coming in there, I used to always make them feel comfortable. Every time they came in, I was chatty. I'm so chatty. They were always shy, and every time I saw them, I'm like, what's up, man? What's your name? My name is Timothy. Damn, Timothy, that's cool. What you like to do, Timothy? And sometimes they don't want to talk, but I'm like, bitch, we're at work. I'm going to talk to you because we got to make the time pass. So I'll be like, so what you into, Timothy? Nah, I don't know. You like video games? Not really. You watch any TV shows? Not really. When they're those type of motherfuckers, I will tell them in their face. I'll be like, damn, bro, so you don't do shit, huh? You just be sitting in your house. The look they be giving me like, Like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, why is he telling me all this shit? I gotta break the mold. You gotta break their shell, because sometimes people, they have like this shield up. You gotta break that shit down by asking them stupid questions, and then they're gonna get comfortable.
My last real job was, I used to be a waiter for weddings and
Whoa.
other events. That job low-key had me stressing because I wasn't good at the start. I was awkward taking orders, I would mess up orders, and one time I even dropped a whole tray of food I was carrying at the wedding. Best believe I didn't get tips that day. And what would get me kinda jealous is that some of my co-workers would walk out and carry 2 trays full of food on one shoulder. Like, damn bro, are you Samoan? Those trays are mad heavy and so out of balance. But you know what kept me going? It was the fun time I had with my co-workers and boss. They were cool as hell. We had a carpool to get to the events. It was always a vibe and a good time. They made my experience. Imagine working a 16-hour shift and walking out of it happy. One day I clocked in for a double shift for a wedding and a Sweet 16 at 9:30 a.m. and clocking out at 1:30 a.m.
Damn.
Granted, I was dead after that shift and had to take off my shoes more than once, but I got $60 worth of tips and went to Wawa after.
That's terrible. That's terrible, bro. You only got $60 tip? I mean, fuck, bro. I don't know, bro. The math ain't mathing for me, man. $60 tip? Fuck.
Work, so I felt like Gucci. And I believe I only felt like this because the environment I was around was nice.
That's good.
Sometimes. I've had to serve some aggressive people at some points.
Yeah, it's my birthday today. What can I get out here for free?
Nothing.
You a bitch.
If I had trash co-workers or a trash boss, I would have not stayed at that job for long. I have zero patience for bullshit. Literally. Like example, the first job I've ever had in my senior year of high school, I was a janitor at a warehouse. I had no co-workers, so I had nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
And my boss was not a bad person, but a bad boss. I'd be working shifts.
I'm not gonna lie. Jobs like that. What job did I work at? Look, jobs like that, if I'm working alone at a warehouse and I gotta do something that's like managerial, no cap, I will be on Discord 24/7. Like with a little earpiece on, no cap. I will log in a Discord every day in voice chat and just be like, boom. Anybody who jumps in the court, I'll be like, yo, what's poppin'? Manny, what you doing? Sweeping. What you doing, bro? I would be on VC every day if I'm by myself, because it's kind of like, I feel like I have to talk to somebody. If I'm by myself all the time, I'd be like, shit. You said, why the janitor talking to himself every day? Hey, at least they gonna leave me alone.
That were 2 to 3
Music
hours
in my ear,
every
that's good
few
too.
days, cleaning the break rooms, hallways, and bathrooms. So my pay wasn't even that good, but since I was still in school, I was just thinking, I'm making money and I got more time to study and goon. That sounds like a win-win. But when payday arrived, I would only be paid for half the hours I worked, sometimes less. I was already barely working as is, combined.
Nah. You got paid for half the time you worked, I would instantly be like, where's the rest of my money? Oh, no. And I'd be like, I don't work for free. You either give me the rest of my money or I'm walking the fuck out of here. Hell no.
And with a salary of $13 an hour, cleaning up pee-pee and poo-poo. Man, I'm not taking it. Plus, he only paid me through Cash App. You've ever had a job that only paid you through Cash App? Man, I had to go. I only worked there for a few weeks. He did pay me the rest of the money after, so he cool, but man, warehouse jobs are not it. My patience dwindled faster when I got accepted at BJ's, and I worked there for 1 day. I asked to go to the bathroom and left during orientation. I discovered they weren't what they advertised.
Yo.
How you gonna call yourselves BJ's without expecting people to have certain expectations? That's false advertising. So I left. That wasn't really the reason. I just didn't want to work in the freezer. That's when I started my waiting job, then YouTube, and now here I am.
Yo, chat, no cap. I think my first job I've ever had was working at Dunkin' Donuts. That was an experience. The freezer, when I used to fuck around with the ice cream, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Baskin Robbins ice cream is still goated to me. Even though like Dunkin' Donuts used to piss me off, their Baskin Robbins ice cream bangers. I love Baskin Robbins.
Damn. Unemployed since. I'm just saying I
You
can
said I swear
understand
you
the
always tell us
struggle
about Dunkin'
of looking
Donuts.
for
That's my
and
first
having
job. I
everything,
always gotta mention
especially
it.
the ones you
It's
won't
Dunkin'
take to
Donuts.
make ends meet. And the unemployed life can be really fun when you have stuff to fall back on. If not, it will only be short-term satisfaction. Eventually, you have to get a career, deal with any of the shortcomings of it, and do that for the rest of your life. The American dream! So when looking for a job, make sure to get one that you like if you have the privilege to do so. That's all I really wanted to say. And in conclusion, enjoy unemployment while you still can. Different strokes for different folks. And so on and so on and Scooby-Doo.
Nah, he's spitting facts. Anybody right now that's in unemployment and you're like lucky to be in a position where like you're still being supported by family, enjoy that shit to the max. Because it's not always going to be like that. Because the worst scenario is like when you're unemployed and you have nobody to depend on. Be happy you do have somebody like a mom or pop or mom and pop together, you know, whatever. You got somebody to depend on. Because if you're in a scenario where you broke and you got nobody to depend on, oh, you're cooked, bro. You're cooked. That's like one of my biggest fears, bro. Crazy. But if you're right now unemployed, you know, try your hardest to try to learn some skills, something that you could utilize, something on the internet, maybe like take a trade school, a course. But definitely enjoy that unemployment while you're still in it. You said tomorrow's teaching time? Nah, bro, I actually got to end stream, chat. Oh, man, everybody's talking about this DDG shit. So this shit is real. I don't want to go too crazy talking about it because I was thinking like, is it maybe rumors? Well, we don't know. Nah, everybody, like, I'm starting to see posts. Oh, shit, people talk about it, bro. People talk about it.